Welcome. So, today we're going to dive into something that's just a fundamental part of being alive: change. How do we deal with it? More importantly, how do we actually grow from it? We're going to explore some really timeless wisdom that gives us a powerful guide for not just getting through change, but actually thriving in it. Let's get started. Okay, this powerful African proverb, this is going to be our anchor for today. Just think about that for a second. The wind, that's all the chaos, the uncertainty, the stuff life throws at us. And the roots? Well, that's our foundation, our stability. It's such a simple idea, but it just perfectly captures the secret to being resilient. And that's the real question, isn't it? It's one thing to hear that proverb and go, yeah, that's beautiful, but it's a whole other thing to actually do it. How do you and I build that kind of internal strength when everything on the outside feels like it's always shifting? That's exactly what we're going to break down. So here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at why change is so essential in the first place. Then, we're going to get real about the pain of avoiding it, of staying stuck. After that, we'll explore what these deep roots actually are. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at a simple, powerful framework for putting all this wisdom to work in our own lives. All right, first up, the engine of change. Let's try to flip the script on how we see change. Instead of thinking of it as this big, disruptive force we need to avoid, let's see it for what it really is: the absolute essential fuel for any kind of progress, any kind of learning. So check this out. You've got three brilliant, totally different minds, and they all land on the same crucial point. Leo Buscaglia says that if you've truly learned something, the result is change. Then you have Einstein, who takes it a step further. He says your ability to change is the real measure of your intelligence. And William Pollard kind of gives us the so what. He says, without change, there's no reason to ever get better. The message is just crystal clear. Change isn't just something happening to us, it's the very process of us becoming who we're meant to be. Okay, so we know change is necessary. We get it. But let's be honest for a second. It's hard. It can be super uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. So why should we push through all that? Well, let's take a look at the alternative. This is a question we all have to face at some point, right? When we fight against growth, when we choose what's familiar just because it's familiar, what are we actually giving up? What's the real price we pay for staying in one place for too long? And wow, N.R. Narayana Murthy just puts it perfectly here. Yes, growth is painful, for sure. Change is painful, but that pain? It's got nothing on the slow, chronic ache of being stuck in a job, a relationship, a mindset, somewhere deep down, you just don't belong anymore. So let's really break down the choice we're facing. On one hand, you've got the pain of change. Think of it like an investment. It's temporary, yeah, and it leads directly to growth. On the other hand, you've got the pain of staying stuck. That's not an investment, it's a cost. It's constant, it's draining, and ultimately it just leads to decay. When you see it laid out like that, the choice becomes a whole lot clearer. And this brings us right back to our central idea. To handle that temporary pain of change and to avoid that permanent cost of being stuck, we need a strong foundation. We've got to focus on what grounds us because that's what builds our ability to weather any storm. So what are these deep roots, practically speaking? Look, this isn't some abstract idea. They are your core principles, the things you really truly believe in. They're the knowledge and skills you've built over time, and maybe most important of all, they're your connection to your source of strength, whatever that is for you. Maybe it's your family, your faith, your community, or just your own deep sense of purpose. This Yoruba proverb is such a perfect way to think about it. Just like a river needs a connection to its source to keep flowing, we need to stay connected to our source to keep growing. If we get so swept up in the current of daily life that we forget where we came from and what really matters to us, our energy, our motivation, our whole spirit, it can just dry up. And here's something really important to remember, and it comes from a Somali proverb. Building this foundation takes time. You can't rush growing deep roots. It takes patience. It takes consistency and experience. It's a gradual process of strengthening what grounds you, day after day. Okay, so we get it. We need to change, staying stuck is painful, and our roots are everything. But understanding all this isn't enough, is it? The final and honestly the most critical part of this whole journey is about turning that knowledge into meaningful action. I absolutely love this proverb because it's so simple and so profoundly true. You can have the best tools, the best ideas, the best ingredients, in this case, all this wisdom, but if you don't actually do anything with them, they're useless. Potential means nothing without action. So here's a really simple framework to put it all together. Step 1, actively build your foundation. Remember your source, just like that river we talked about. What are the values that feed your strength? Step 2, apply consistent effort. That's our cooking pot, right? It's not enough to have potential. You got to show up every day and use it. And then step 3, which is so crucial, act with understanding. This Kenyan proverb really gets to the heart of that third step. Look, anyone can react with force when the winds of change start blowing. But real strength, the kind that comes from those deep roots, is about responding with reason. It's about using the wisdom you've built up to navigate challenges with intention instead of just trying to muscle your way through them. That is the mark of true growth. So, as you go about your day, facing whatever winds might be blowing, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Your roots draw their life from a source. So, what is the source in your life? The one you simply cannot afford to forget.